Right, good morning, Year 4. We are going to be doing some ordering of a story in our literacy today, just to make you familiar with the story of Boudicca and her fight against the Romans. So some of you have actually already shown me that you know a little bit about Boudicca, but we are just going to go over some details because this is something we're going to use for our independent right. So, hopefully you have already read the extract I've left from you from this book about Boudicca. As you've already read it, I will just go over it and make sure you understand all of the details. So make sure you've got your copy in front of you and you can follow along with me. Okay, so Boudicca. I'll try and show you the pictures as I go. Boudicca, Celtic queen and rebel leader. Roman rule. Boudicca was born around the year AD 30, so it's 30 years after the death of Jesus, into the Iceni tribe, a Celtic people who lived in an area of England now known as East Anglia. Little is known about Boudicca's early years, but it is believed that she was the daughter of a powerful local chief. Okay, so if you think back to our lesson on Friday, you might be able to think about why little is known about her early life. So it could be that maybe nothing was written about it, or it could be that maybe something was written about it and nothing survived, because as we know from our lesson on Friday, our art/history lesson, there were no written sources that have survived from the Celtic era, so we do not know little details about people's lives without using the sources related to the Romans. So the Roman sources have survived, so that's how we know about Boudicca, because she was involved with the Romans. Okay, let's carry on. At the time she was born, the Romans had taken charge of much of Britain. Their rule was generally peaceful, but the Romans controlled most of the land that had once belonged to the native tribes. The Iceni, like the rest of the Britons, were very proud, and they were not very happy to be ruled by outsiders. So Britons is a word which is used to describe all of the different Celtic tribes which existed at this period in Britain. So remember, they're not all together at this time, they are different tribes. So Boudicca's tribe is called the Iceni tribe. Warrior Queen. Around AD 48, so that's 48 years after the death of Jesus, and that is 18 years after Boudicca was born, Boudicca married Prasutagus, king of the Iceni people, who was a strong independent leader and a friend of Rome. Even so, the Iceni had to pay the Romans taxes, and some were even made Roman slaves. Boudicca and Prasutagus, who lived in what is now Norfolk, had 2 daughters. Prasutagus fairly and sensibly divided his property and money so that when he died, the 2 girls would inherit part and the rest would pass to Rome, in keeping with Roman law. So Prasutagus did everything he could to stick to the rules of the Romans and to keep peace. However, when Prasutagus died, the Roman commanders decided to take all of his property as well as that of other Iceni leaders. Because Prasutagus had debts, that's money he had not paid back, that Boudicca was unable to pay, the Romans beat her in public, and then attacked her daughters. Boudicca was furious and wanted revenge, and so did her people. So you can see here, this is Boudicca. This is all of the different tribal areas in Britain. So you can see all of those people were very angry with the Romans. Tall and commanding, Boudicca was a powerful figure. She began to gather support against the Romans. The local tribes were often at war with each other, but Boudicca convinced them to unite against their common enemy, the Romans, who had treated so many tribes unfairly. Boudicca succeeded in doing what no king before her had done. She brought the Britons together. In AD 61, so 61 years after the death of Jesus, and 13 years after she married Prasutagus, Boudicca and the Britons she led set off for a Roman city which is now called Colchester, a symbol of Roman power with a great temple to the Roman Emperor Claudius. Colchester did not have many soldiers to protect it, and Boudicca and her followers flattened it. They moved on to destroy Londinium, which is now London, followed by the important town of Verulamium, which is now called St Albans. Around 80,000 Romans and their supporters were killed by Boudicca and the Britons. So that's all of the Celtic tribes that she's joined together, who dealt harshly with anyone left behind. The Romans were ashamed, and even more upset that the raids were led by a woman. Boudicca seemed unstoppable. So you can see here, this is Boudicca in her carriage, and she here has the traditional blue paint that we have learnt about so far that the Celts used to wear into battle. After conquering Colchester, London and St Albans, Boudicca and her army moved north. They ambushed a large group of Roman soldiers on the way, ready to beat their enemy once more. They met the troops of the Roman governor Suetonius in open battle. Although there were far more Britons, they were soon trapped, surrounded by Romans who had better training, discipline, and weapons. The Romans stopped the first wave of Britons with javelins and the second wave with short swords and shields. It was a terrible defeat for Boudicca's followers. Only 400 Romans were killed in the Battle of Watling Street, but over 200,000 Britons died. Boudicca is believed to have died either from her wounds or from taking poison to avoid being captured. Although Boudicca's rebellions had nearly forced the Romans out of England, in the end, the Romans won. And then we have a lovely quote from Boudicca. "I am not fighting for my kingdom and wealth now. I am fighting as an ordinary person for my lost freedom." Shaking the world. Nearly 2,000 years later, Boudicca has become a legendary leader whose life and actions have inspired many poems, plays, paintings and stories. Although much of her life is surrounded with myth and mystery, we do know that she has achieved an incredible thing. In a time when women were not usually leaders, she managed to do what no man had done, uniting the warring Celtic tribes and leading them successfully against 3 of the greatest Roman cities in England. She remains a symbol of strength, intelligence and bravery, not just for British women, but for all women. Okay, so today's task, now you have read it yourself and listened to me read that story, is you are going to click on your timeline link. So this is a timeline, a storyboard, your storyboard link. This is a storyboard about what I've just read to you, about that battle and about Boudicca's life story. It's one that I have made, and at the moment it is in order. So you can see the order of our story is we always start with an opening, then a problem, then a resolution, then an ending. So it goes in the same order as the events that actually happened. What I would like you to do is I would like you to cut up these 4 pictures, cut around the pictures, and then cut around the text. And then I want you to join them back up in the correct order and then check your work and upload your finished, stuck back together storyboard. Okay. Enjoy, and hopefully this will lead you in good stead, ready for our independent write that we are going to do on this story later on. Okay. Enjoy year 4. I'll talk to you later.